a load of them were written by David, who was shepherd boy, and then became the king of Israel. So he's had two jobs at least, and some of them are just nice and thoughtful. The most popular is Psalm 23. I won't bother to read it to you because you'll think, oh, I've heard that at funerals. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He was a shepherd and he had to look after I'll be polite and say silly sheep. Pass them every day on the time. He said, I look after these sheep, but the Lord's my shepherd. Well, that's a nice one. It's spread off to the funerals, occasions. I can read a few bits from Psalm 51. That may not be familiar to us, but David, when he was king, he had an affair with someone. She became pregnant. He became guilty, and I wouldn't write a song about it, but he wanted to, so he wrote Psalm 51. I think, could I write that? Don't think I could. It's just a few bits. It's really in this psalm, he is saying sorry to God for causing this woman to have his baby. The sad thing is that when the baby was born, the baby died, and he was even more grief-stricken. But this psalm, gosh, how can he write a thing like that? He was really repentant. And there's loads of other psalms, all on different feelings that this man had. He was a shepherd boy. Yeah, he could relate to sheep. But when he was a kid, he had to do everything. He was the one who came to his judgment, and he made it. So I won't read it out. I'll just say, if you're sorry for what you've done at any time, read Psalm 51. You'll feel better. Repeat it. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the writings of Shepherd Boy David and King David. And thank you, Lord, that we have such a good record of all the things he said. So we realise that he was a man who wore his heart on his sleeve. We thank you for it and the encouragement it gives us. Lord, we just thank you that we can talk to you at the beginning of our meeting tonight. And we pray that as we talk about the things on our agenda, Lord, that you give us understanding and wisdom as we debate different subjects. So, Lord, we commit our time to you in the name of the Lord Jesus. Amen.
Well, thank you, Jeff. Right, so we go on to the agenda. Item 1, to receive and agree apologies and reasons for absence. I've got 7 apologies, so if I read them out to you, we've had apologies from Toby Egbert, Mark Fay, Mark Newland, Nathan Townsend, Dan Turton, Neil Basil, and Alison Perry. Right, to receive declarations of interest and consider members submitted dispensation requests. I don't think we've had any, have we? No. Right. Chair's discretion for any matters of announcements for information only. Is there anybody that would like to bring up a matter? I've got one matter to discuss with them. Thank you. Anybody else? No. Right, thank you, members. Right. We have now gone to item 4, which is to determine which items, if any, of the agenda should be taken with the public excluded. I believe we have got one item that we possibly would like to move.
Before we decide, before it gets proposed, the report that councillor Elliott's put through, you've managed to do that very well without naming any names. I'm just going to say, if you want to discuss that with the public included, I need you to be very conscious of what you're going to be saying. Alternatively, if you feel that there's a chance that you really want to discuss it in more detail and there is the possibility that any names and things could be brought up within the mix, I would suggest you then vote for it to go into part B, within part B, because I just want you to be conscious of that. So it's for you to discuss.
Right, councillor Gear.
Didn't really save any problems, part B, and then it's covered in the.
Right.
Terry feel about it.
I would say that it's something that is of concern to the public greatly, so they may want to have a discussion, obviously. Bear in mind the caveat, if you think that the name might be
Well,
mentioned.
I mean, I was conscious of exactly that the public are going to want to know that we're talking about that. That's why I've kept your reports within that, so that obviously people are aware that we are doing that. But I don't know how much people are going to know enough to say things. So
Right, well, we have a proposal from councillor Gear rather to move it to part B. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Do members feel? Councillor Higgins, sorry. Right. Can I have a vote? Anybody in favour? Yes, we have a show of hands. Thank you, right.
any abstentions?
Abstentions?
Sorry, what's the
So,
objection? Thank you. Sometimes I need words being.
no
I forget
objections, right members, so we will put that into part B, all right? Lovely, thank you. Right, next
Are
item
you okay
is
reading it?
public participation. I know we have got a couple of members as public. Would you like to say anything that you want me to do? Right. Brian, what would you like to?
Well, back in June, I saw you in the doctor the other day. You said,
Other shops.
we coming on to Monday meeting, I think it's called regeneration.
No, it's not human resources, but yeah.
And when I got here, I was very surprised to see how many people was here. Also, when the table was named, and they weren't named people that I know because they don't want to be. But when I listen to someone talk, one thing I do is that it was running down a bit. They mentioned that as well. But when I ask questions on certain things like I still going to ask the question on it. If the Osborne Hotel, now you might think, well, why do you keep on about that? Basically, I do not see, as it stands at the present moment, any work being done on that hotel. They work very hard to start with, and you might say, well, it's nothing to do with the council. I appreciate that, and I say that, but you can contact the people who are doing this job, because actual fact, when you come into Ilfracombe, the main road in Ilfracombe is Wilder Road. And you must admit, it doesn't look very good whatsoever. You've got the Osborne, doesn't look good, though it's been painted up. Then you've got the Barney, which looks very nice. And then you've got the Grove, Grove Hotel, which was a mess. Oreos, another one. So the outlook in the other group, and people passing by, coming down to the main seafront, I just don't think it looks at all very good for the gem, for the people of Ilfracombe, that don't do this town any good whatsoever. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Right. Officer, that's comment.
Yeah, I can comment on that, Norman, just so you know what is being done. So after the last full council, as we said, it got brought up as part of IRB. Within the draft minutes that haven't been circulated yet, we have come up with, we formulated a plan with not just the Osborne Hotel, but generally those sites that you've mentioned, plus others around the town. We are working alongside the North Devon Council planning officers with Terry very kindly has also supplied some more information on other stalled sites and places that are of disrepair. There's a list being formulated and we're working with the other partners to try and find some answers. but it's a slow process. When they're privately owned, it is difficult. So, but there is things going on in the background. So you have been heard and work is being done. Okay, but I can't promise you it's going to suddenly be amazing tomorrow.
Right, thank you. We've also got in our presence our town crier, Mr. Stephen Sexton. I believe you'd like to just do a small presentation to councillors.
Thank you, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, may I just wish you all a happy International Town Criers Day. I also remind you that today is in France, Bastille Day, their national day, and Ilfracombe is twinned with the French town of Yves, which is just outside Caen in Normandy. And I hope we would all wish them the very best on their national day. I'd like to present you with a report on the events since I was appointed to office. And it starts back in 2024 when I was appointed in October. I attended the Hatherley Town Criers competition with my predecessor, Roy. I attended it Remembrance Day and the Coombe Christmas lights switch on with Dan Turton. Events in 2025, on the 15th of January, the new uniform was ordered from 19th century tailoring down in Christchurch. And I assure you, it is very heavy, it is very warm. It is authentic. On the 29th of January, I obtained membership of the ancient and honourable Guild of Town Criers, of which I am now a fully paid member. On the 4th of May, I attended the Jack in the Green parade and was asked to lead the parade around the town from the Wood Road car park up along here, down around the town and back up and ended at a clapping circle with the maypole dances. I did not dance around there. After that, on the 8th of May, we had the VE Day. We did the photo reenactment on Capsule, which went very well. And I was asked to be whipper in and organise everybody for that. On the 17th of May, I attended and competed at the King's Staton Town Criers competition. The oldest member there had done 42 years of service and the youngest 17. So I somewhat did not stand a chance. But I did my best and I represented the Ilfracombe. Moving forward, on the 26th of May, I attended the Lee Church and Memorial Hall Spring Fair. And together with Mark Fay, we opened the event and we helped to socialise and to get the event up and running and up to a flying start. On the 6th of June, of course, was the D-Day commemoration. And in fact, attended two different events on the same day. I attended the service at the Clapham Circle and then went on to join the British Legion up at Warming. Two events in one day. On the 7th of June was the Paddle Steam of Waverley. On the 8th of June, 4th Street had a food and music festival, to which I was asked to attend and give a town cry, which I did. On the 5th of July, we had All Things Morris, to which I attended with the Deputy Mayor, and also the following day on the 6th. The diary, that completes the event so far, and the diary going forward. On the 3rd of August, I've been asked to attend the Ilfracombe Museum. They're having a 1940s exhibition. On the 24th of August, we have the Ilfracombe Carnival, which I've been asked to attend. On the 30th of August, see Ilfracombe over 2 days, I shall be attending. On the 6th of September, I've been invited to attend the Newton Abbot Town Criers competition and represent Ilfracombe. On the 9th of November, Remembrance Day, the 28th of November will be the Coombe Christmas Switch On, and the 6th and 7th of December will be the Winter Wonderland, which I'm taking part in all of those. That's my future calendar so far. Thank you very much for giving me.
Right, thank you. Can I just say a personal thanks to our town crier for attending with me at the All Things Morris. Unfortunately, I learnt that my voice doesn't carry. So he, you know, I put it down to the weather, but unfortunately I haven't got a very strong voice, but with the assistance of our town crier, I think I was found anyway. And thank you very much. Right, we now go on to the remaining part of the agenda. Now, members, I note that we've also got Steve with us. Now, obviously, he has come for the Ilfracombe Bloom item, which is in number 17. 17.1, and it's A. Could I ask members if they would be in agreement that we brought that item forward to save Mr. Trevor Levin to remain for the rest of the meeting? Could I have a proposer, please, and a seconder? And could I have a show of hands to say we are in agreement? Right. So would you like to give your presentation now?
Well, I think we've talked through the put in, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We need to sort of, to see if there's any questions that any of the councillors might have that I could maybe answer and put some of their minds at rest. But ideally, I would like to go away tonight with a positive response so that we can start getting the ball rolling with starting to build a subcommittee. So that we report back to yourselves with the assistance of either a councillor or a facilities team member, which I think is all the report. And we can then start phase one, getting the quotes in, update you on step by step what we would like, what we intend, and what we envisage it looking like. So hands together, it's in your lap. If you could maybe see yourselves going that one step further to transform the war memorial into a peace garden.
Right, thank you. Right, do I have any questions from members, please? Councillor Elliott.
Steve, have you already got the other people interested? You mentioned parish church, etc. Have you already got representatives from them?
No, not at the moment. Obviously, I didn't want to start recruiting. If obviously we don't, once we get the hopefully the agreement tonight, then we'll be full straight to steam ahead. So, but I mean, if anybody, I mean, we've already had one, somebody that would be interested or somebody that we should maybe get involved with the subcommittee tonight, which is really good. You know, we're really flexible. We want to try and do this the right way. So we're, you know, I'm personally want to work as a partner to Ilfracombe Town Council. We really are just going to try and do the work and raise the money.
Right, have we got any other questions, members? Yes, councillor Wilson.
I love the idea. I think NDC, do they own the land?
No.
They, so who owns it?
We do,
That's-
that-
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
They're not on.
Yeah, that's right.
So easier.
This is, and obviously we're working, Laura's working with myself, and we'll be working with the church as well, like, so that they, hopefully will have a representative from the church on the subcommittee. So step by step, everybody will know exactly phase one to phase seven.
Right, have we got any other questions? Right, sorry, councillor Gear.
And I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think it's been long overdue, really. I mean, I know our guys keep it as nice as they can, but to revamp it, I think would be a great asset for the town, and I'm all for it.
Right. So, right, sorry, councillor Elliott.
Yeah, I also agree, it's wonderful. We presumably would have a member of staff on there. I'm just thinking about, we have to do things like health and safety, risk analysis, wouldn't we?
That would, well, we would work alongside Steve to sort all that out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic, everything, yeah.
Right. Any other questions, members?
I would be happy to be the town council member working with me, if anybody else is interested in
Right, thank you, councillor Elliott. Right, members, so we've got a recommendation in front of us, which is number 6. Can I ask how members would like to purchase? Would you like to agree the recommendation? I need a proposal if we do, please. Right, could I have a second there? Right. Members, councillor Higgins, right, all in favour? Nobody against? No? Right, that's lovely. Right, thank you. That's lovely. All right. Thank you. Right. Yeah, you can either stay or leave, it depends on yourselves. I'm sure on a lovely evening like this, you might like to partake while it's not raining, but you are more than welcome to remain.
It's only 2 pubs between here and home.
Sure you can visit both of them.
Cheers.
Thank you. Right.
All of this one.
Right. Right, members, shall we just let our town crier take lead, because we don't want you doing any stinging.
Sorry, I'm melting.
Very warm.
Thank you very much for giving.
Thank you.
Yeah, take it back.
No.
Well, it's a problem.
Right, members, let's go now to the agenda, please. So we've got item 6 to approve and adopt the minutes of full council meeting on the 9th of June 2025. Unfortunately, as you know, councillor Fay isn't here, but we can go ahead with that one. So update on actions taken from previous
Before
minutes.
you do that,
Right,
Would I propose a slight amendment to the minutes? In 2506-17, this is council and 4 members of the Tills Minor Injuries Unit currently operates as a weekend only walking service from 10 to 6, offering only basic care, blah, blah, blah. Patients are now being advised to either call 111, contact Coombe Postal Practice. That should say weekdays afterwards. That is not the weekends, just weekdays.
right, so you just want the
yeah,
word in weekdays to be added.
Yes, please.
Right. I don't see any reason why.
No, that's fine.
That's lovely, thank you very much. Right, so after that, can we do a update on action taken from previous minutes? We're still on that item. 6.11 to agree and amend the draft preventing sexual harassment risk assessment and the draft action plan, which is 6.1.1. So have members had a chance to read this, please? Have we any comments to make?
Yeah, it's been updated with Terry's help to include members as well, so
Right,
I presume hopefully you're all feeling safe within that risk assessment now.
right. So could I have a proposer and a seconder, please, that we adopt those? Proposer councillor Elliott, seconder councillor Higgins. Could I have a show of hands, please? Anybody abstaining? No? Right, lovely, thank you. And that includes both, does it? The action plan?
Yeah, that would be the action
Lovely.
plan as well.
Right, and then we go on to 6.1.2, email from Southwestern Ambulance Charity and correspondence to discuss and consider financial requests. So, right, I'll pass over to our property officer.
Yeah, so this was, we obviously brought this to full council at last meeting. That's why it's an update. We've obviously first received the, excuse me, you received the first letter asking for the financial input, and you need to decide whether you still want to do that. We've obviously subsequently had the briefing note, which I've included in there, from the from the president of the Fire and Rescue Services Association, with their concerns about the fact that first responders are being removed. We've obviously also had the letter that the legal friends of the Tyrrell Hospital sent and the subsequent response thereof. So, following all that information, I leave it open to members to discuss whether or not you feel that going back to that correspondence, whether or not you do want to offer the funding that the charity is asking for or not.
Right. Councillor Elliott.
Myself and councillor Wilson were virtually at PCC meeting today where they discussed co-responders. And there were quite a lot of participants representing communities and the fire service. And I think one of the themes throughout the contributions was how can we guarantee that we are going to get community responders? How are we going to get these volunteers? We're going from a very small pool. Remember, these have to be people who are fit and able, and they have to be people who can be released from work. And in these communities, which is welcome with Martin, but it does affect us. They regularly attend Category 1 incidents in Ilfracombe. I don't know where they're going to come from, basically. So that's one of the questions I would ask of this request. So we'd be contributing to a vehicle, but have they got a guarantee that they can recruit the volunteers to staff that vehicle?
Any other comments that members wish to raise? Right, councillor Crabbe.
Agreeing with Terry, if you look at the report that the SWATs have put together, they sort of almost regard with glee something like 35% or 40% of their requests to the fire service doesn't get an answer, you know, that they're not able to help in about 30-40% of the time. They don't say how many times they contact the first responder and the first responder is not able to help. I mean, the implication I think they're trying to make it there is that the fire service is more unreliable than the volunteer. Well, that's clearly nonsense. Surely it must be nonsense.
In their last year's report, which is the last full year's report, the statistics are that the fire service almost entirely responds to Category 1, whereas community responders respond to Category 1 and lesser medical emergencies. So there's 81 co-responders, and I worked out the rates. They respond per co-responder 43 incidents compared to community responders where there's 600 and thereabouts 5,600 Category 1. It works out at 9.3. I think we're getting really good value for money. I also worked out their operating costs are nearly 400 million for last year, and this co-responder service cost them 280,000, which is 0.07% of their budget. It seems like such a minimal cost saving for actually, well, I mean, we heard incidents today from members of the public who had the co-responders attend. It seems such a pitiful amount to withdraw that when they can respond so quickly, so easily, carry more equipment. They're already fit and trained because they have to do their health checks every year. It's their job, so they don't have to leave their employment. I don't really understand. Yeah, Sarah can give a bit more
I
detail.
can just where which way the wind's definitely going in the meeting today in Devon County is that in spite of a long question and answer session with the ambulance service, you know, answering fairly as well they could, it's apparent that there's a funny feeling about why you're doing this. It's not really been transparent as to why they're doing it, because it saves £60 per fallout, which Terry was saying is not the great deal of money when you think about saving lives. And one of the things that I haven't realised, if it helps to know which way the wind might be blowing, is at the moment Devon County, not that they have a remit over it as such, but they weren't convinced by it at all. So one of the things that I was concerned about that I hadn't realised is that the fire service responders go in pairs, and the volunteer responders will be on their own unless they can find somebody to back them up, which they were a little bit cagey about. They couldn't promise that they could do that, because obviously they haven't, they've got to recruit. So yeah, that's the way. There's a lot of doubts, should we say, at the moment.
Just come back to what we said earlier on. I mean, it seems clear, I think Sarah just backed up, it seems clear that whatever the logic of it is, say for ambulance service seems to be fairly determined to this. And this is not an institute thing, this is a damn white thing, isn't it? So I mean, there needs to be wider. We can't fix it in this room, so we need to go wider to try and fix it. I don't know, I'm as aghast as you, it doesn't seem it's £60 per person per attendance. I mean, in fairness, you're almost looking Uber money, aren't you? I mean, it's not, you know, this is not a great budget, so you know, I don't see what the sense of it is. But how do you suggest it, and how do you suggest that we put a fighting team together? Because it's not going to happen in this room, is it?
I was going to respond to the letter first. My information would be to say that there are unanswered questions about your capacity to recruit, and we have concerns over the removal of co-responders. So at this time, my proposal would be that we don't on this bid, we don't contribute towards the bid. But the fire service are obviously the stations themselves, and some of the fire people are obviously fighting this. This is across Cornwall as well. I think we should be asking these questions. We should be challenging it as a town council. We had somebody in the meeting whose husband's life was saved by the fire and crew responding. It took 40 minutes for an ambulance, and so something like that without them. CPR apparently can only be done for 4 minutes before you get tired and you need someone to take over. Also, we had someone who was unresponsive and had to be moved in position. You needed 2 people to do it. I think it had to be, yeah. You always have 2 crew on an ambulance, don't you? So first responder will be limited compared to the co-responders as to what they can do. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions, basically.
Okay, well, I'm if members are happy, I'm quite happy to respond back with basically saying that we're not overly pleased with well, I'll put all the wording in, don't worry. But then with regards to obviously wanting to challenge and take this further, we wanting just write a letter at this point, or is there more that we could be doing?
I think
Councillor Gear.
We seem to at least two subjects here. One is the vehicle, one is what's going to happen. I think let's deal with the vehicle first and respond to them and say, while this is all still up in the air, we don't know what is going, we're not going to say we're not going to fund you, but we want to just hold back until we find out where this is going. And as far as the other one, then yes, let's ask the questions. But as far as volunteers are concerned, I can't see any problem. That's just something you're making up that may or may not be a problem. The lifeboat never get any problems getting volunteers. The fire service occasionally get problems, but they always get there. So until you do it, you don't really know whether they're going to get enough volunteers or not.
Right, thank you, Councillor Gear.
So the training is very long for a community responder, and it's quite a lot of hours. And I think part of the problem with this proposal is it's come out blind. If you look at last year's report, it makes no hint. So it's come out of nowhere. So they haven't done any consultations with the communities affected. They haven't really justified their cost analysis on this, and considering it's so marginal. And they haven't scoped out the potential for volunteers. In fact, they say if in 12 months we haven't recruited anybody, we'll have to look at this again. That doesn't seem a way to run the future. There are so many concerns that I do think we ought to.
Right, members. Sorry, Councillor Huggins, and I'm going to draw this one to a close.
I was just wondering whether at the same time as we mentioned what we were saying about we need to clarify the situation before we consider funding, but at the same time, can't we just take a position ourselves that we support the FRSA in urging the these authorities to reverse the decision and to expand the co-responder model?
Because that's basically what the representatives of Fire and Rescue Services Association asked us to do, is support us in this
Yeah.
battle. Let's try and fight it, and let's try and keep our
Right,
fire responders. So perhaps might be willing to propose that.
yeah, is that gonna be, are you willing to propose that?
The right to basically express our support for the
Right.
FRSA position, which is,
Right. Could I have a seconder for that then, please? Right, so are members in agreement? Can I have a show of hands? Right, is our proper consent?
Yeah, so we're doing this twofold, obviously, I'm going to be responding with regards to funding, saying, okay, no, and then we're gonna send a separate letter with the support to the FSRA, is that what
Yeah,
we're
that
proposing?
is-
I
that's what members-
mean, if it's the two different people that are asking for the money, is it the same people who've got the decision over whether or not it's been closed to service?
I'll work it all out.
Yeah.
You have to word it carefully, otherwise it's saying like, if you do shut the fire service down, you get 300 quid.
Yeah.
It didn't mention the
Yeah.
consent.
No, exactly.
Yeah, right, so members are happy with that, so yes, thank you very much.
Chair, before you carry on, you need to go back to 6, we didn't approve the actual minutes. If that's
Oh,
okay,
right,
please.
sorry, I do apologise. Right, we need to approve the minutes of the last full council meeting of the 9th of June. Could we've obviously had an amendment which we've agreed to, could I have a proposal for that one, please? And a seconder, and all in favour? Right, thank you, yes, sorry about that, I got slightly sidetracked, didn't we? Right, next one is minutes of planning committee meeting to note and approve recommendations, which is myself. I take it you've all read the minutes, there is no recommendations as such. So can I just note, can I get members that we note this one, please? Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you very much, right. Next one is item 8, minutes of the finance and general. To note and approve recommendations, and I pass over to councillor Evans.
Yeah, so you have the report and as with, and like the note report, we have an item, as an update, which is the proposal to increase the working reserves in a separate report.
That's it, lovely. Right, thank you very much, councillor Huggins. Right, we then go on to, right, 8.1, update on actions taken from previous minutes.
Chair, do you want to present that, or just the report basically explains what needs to be done?
You propose it, but I'll second it, only.
Yes, yeah, it's just a note, so.
Well, no, it's not, it's all in favour.
Oh, is it all in, right, sorry.
You have to vote it,
Right, are
unfortunately.
members in favour of accepting that? Yes, thank you very much. Right, and now we go on to the proposal to increase the working reserves by 25,000.
That's what you've just voted.
Yeah. Right, so that's lovely.
We're done on that one
We're
then.
done on that one, right,
Yeah.
minutes of staff and committee meeting to approve and note recommendations. Obviously, councillor Fay is not here, so I pass over to councillor Gear, is that correct?
No.
Oh, no, not any longer.
Oh, right, sorry, I am.
Councillor Irwin is deputy.
Owen, sorry, I do apologise.
Not sure what I'm supposed to comment on this, at the moment, but,
Right,
there were various recommendations going forward.
Yeah, you're right for me to step in, John.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll step in for councillor Fay and Irwin. Minutes, as documented, hopefully you've all read them. There has been a further update. I've forgot about that. I can give council members an update, but I will do that under part B if everyone is in agreement. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
apologies, I didn't mention that
right, that's
when we
right.
were doing that section.
Right, so members note the minutes, right. Next one is minutes of the devolution LGR committee meeting to note and approve recommendation, and I pass over to councillor.
Thank you very much. We had a discussion on it, and I think the most strategic and forward-thinking thing we've done is try and set up local little units of multiple councils. And we've started a discussion with a couple of local ones. Now, I'll pass you over to my assistant, next year, who will give you further details on who we've contacted, how and why.
Thank you.
Okay, so what was discussed as part of that meeting was obviously the general concept of local government reorganisation, which is all still very up in the air, and I have written a bit in my report about where we're at and what's going on. With regards to clustering is what is generally referred to. So what the idea of clustering is that because this affects not just towns, it affects parishes. A lot of the parishes we found through numerous conversations and from history kind of get forgotten and don't really know what's going on, but equally do feed in off of the services of their most local town. So realistically, those that are in Berenaba, those that are potentially in Carmarthen or West Down will generally come to someone like Ilfracombe and they will then use the services that are here. Equally, there is also obviously, as we go further down the line, the chances of they're going to probably want grounds teams, but they don't necessarily want to employ them. So that's where we kind of start working in that kind of collaborative way. So where we're at the moment is I have managed to get the town, there's 4 towns within the North Devon District Council, ourselves, Barnstaple, Linton and Lynmouth and South Molton. I've got commitment from Barnstaple and Linton and Lynmouth. I need to get hold of South Molton because they don't seem to respond to any of my emails. I've got a meeting with them next week where we are going to start discussing that and start mapping it out as to which towns we will try and contact. After that, it's literally going to be like trying to contact all the town clerks and their members and just kind of get them to try and be on board. Further to that, are you happy for me to carry on about local government reorganisation while I'm on it? There's a steering group which Dalp set up. I'm on that steering group, so I'm privy to a lot of stuff that's kind of going on within the Devon area. Devon County Council are not generally engaging. They have only just recently, we were at a joint meeting, an SLCC joint meeting of Devon and Cornwall, and Simon Kitchen was invited. And bless him, I'm not really sure why he was invited because he kind of stood there and didn't have any answers. So it was a bit like pitchforks at dawn with no answers. There was nothing he could kind of give us. But he has opened the doors to kind of starting conversations with DAG and SLCC, so that's good. I have heard that they are doing, and I'm still waiting, and I'm hoping that our councillor for Devon County Council might be able to shine a light on it because it's in your report. I found out at the parish forum that happened last week that Devon County Council are actually starting in Ilfracombe with a big bus or vehicle of some description to do community engagement, but nobody seems to know what that community engagement is or that it's even happening. And it's starting in Ilfracombe, and they've not contacted anyone. North Devon District Council officers don't know. I don't know.
And it's on the harbour.
And it's on the harbour. No,
tourists are.
Exactly. And I have mentioned that in an email that I sent to North Devon Council saying it's completely the wrong place. Nobody seems to know what's going on, and it's next Friday. So and it's only up until I think midday as well. So 18th this Friday, sorry, my apologies. So it's on the 18th, down at the harbour, up until about midday, which doesn't really work because I've got meetings. But I understand that Chief Exec for North Devon Council will be down there and will be finding out exactly what they're engaging in because he equally does not know what they're doing because they're not engaging with the districts. So that's the Devon County Council side. At the local parish forum, the local government reorganisation was a subject. Within that, Ken Miles very kindly produced a report. I'll be honest, not much was kind of said that we don't already know. It's all about proposals, who's putting what in, what they're supporting, what they're not supporting. The fact that they're all going for the 145 proposal, I think, which most of you hopefully have looked at and understand. North Devon Council is trying to push a North Devon Place story. So, and I think that might come with a cost, but that was something that he mentioned just very briefly on the periphery. But I with regards to it, there's other things that are going on. There's a lot of using Surrey as the guinea pig at the moment because they're the ones that are pushing through and going really quickly, and this concept of neighbourhood area committees, which I don't know very much about, but I'll look into. But I did question, I now know the two officers, luckily, who are dealing with it at North Devon Council level, so that's a good in for us. And also I did question the engagement of the district with society, with people like Doubt and SLCC. They weren't engaging, so I've now put them in touch and made them engage, hopefully. And I've also kind of pushed from our perspective saying we've got no engagement with them, and I'd like to have officer support and engagement from now and all the way through. And that's been taken on board. Whether we'll get it, I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully that's
Right.
sum up.
Councillor Craig, would you like
Your
to
North
add?
Devon story
Mm.
has been commissioned. So the consultant's going to do that. The 62,000 has been budgeted for that, and that was agreed at Monday's meeting in here, that went through. So that the thinking behind that is to create some sort of lived experience or some definition that links North Devon and Torridge. There are those members of North Devon Council, and I genuinely don't know where Sarah sits, but I mean, there are some that feel that Barnstable is a better centre for North Devon than many other places, so they're trying to do this, I don't know what you call it, 1144, I suppose, instead of 145, I guess. So there's things behind that. So this is the link North Devon and Torridge. So that what we got in common, what do we share, how can we identify the fact that we're from Northern Devon as one place? And then the thinking is that that's not 62,000 wasted if it doesn't happen, because the findings of that can then be plugged into either the Devon County 1 model or the District Council's 145 model, or 1 in fairness model, or 145 model. So that's where that is. I've still, as you know, still been talking to Ken saying it's ridiculous that we're not taking on more debt. This rubbish about a balanced budget is nonsense. We're about to join, whether you want to or not, we're about to join with a load of councils that are all massively in debt. We are not. I think our debt's about 6 million. If we don't get our debt up to the average, your council tax will fly through the roof because we'll be paying everybody's debt in Exeter, or everybody's debt in Mid-Devon, whatever. Mid-Devon just tried to build a load of flats and went bankrupt in a spectacular fashion. So that's what and the sweet spot for buying stuff is between November and August. As far as Ken Miles is concerned, that's when he wants to talk about transfer of assets. But until then, he doesn't want to talk about it. There we go.
Right, thank you, right. Councillor Wilson.
Yeah, just like that's what Councillor Crabbe said. I don't think North Devon Council is sold at all on 145, but there could be factions within the council that are, and some that aren't. So, like Councillor Crabbe was saying, there's a North Devon and Torridge bid. So each council is getting £33,000 from the government to put this in. So it's not council money, say, so it's been put together. But the idea, as I understood it, was that they were hoping that they might bring on Mid and West Devon as well, with a larger body that has got more in common than the more metropolitan or urban Southern Devon, as a separate entity. But Mid and West Devon at the moment we're not really that playing ball, but potentially, whereas Torridge and North Devon are going for it. And the other thing is, Devon County Council not releasing any data at all, so that council districts can work out, for example, what their social care costs might be, which is really poor. So I hear nothing about LGR with Devon County, apart from that random meeting that just came into my diary. Yeah, so that's a little bit.
Thank you.
The two bits with regards to, it did get mentioned about the debt and things at the parish forum, at which point I did sneakily at that point suggest that they might want to offload some car parks, bring that down. I think that might have got slightly ignored, but it is a recorded meeting. And something else I was going to say to you, Sarah, in response to that, and now it's gone, which happens a lot, so it'll come back to me. But with regards to, which is further down on our agenda, with regards to consultation, North Devon District Council has started the consultation. I think it is at item 17.1D. It is a consultation that runs until the 11th of August. It is very much exactly the same consultation that is currently running in Mid Devon, South Hams, because on that steering group, we all put the same in, it's literally question for question. Please respond as much as you can, I think the last time I looked, there are probably only about 130 responses. It is a bit of a difficult response, it kind of doesn't give you the option to actually say what you think, you literally is a bit of a tick box all the way through, so it's a bit of a guided consultation, but yeah.
We gave up, sorry.
Right. Councillor Elliott.
I was gonna say, I have responded to it, but it is a very difficult consultation. It asks you to rank
Yeah.
them, but as you're doing it, it gets really confusing. And just use the free flow boxes to say what you think, because also it's impossible to rank some of them because they're all equally important. So I gave some feedback today to the person who'd put it through and followed the previous one and said it would have been better if you could have ranked each one between 1 and 5. Because then you can give your opinion about each category, but honestly, when you go on it, it'll be a nightmare.
Well,
Be aware of that.
not being overly cynical, but it might be just, we might just, they want to know what they want, what they're guiding us and what they want to know.
All right, thank you. Right, can we now go on to item 11, which is ITC report from proper officer? So again, it's you.
Me again, right, I probably just waffled on about everything.
Right, so first.
Yeah, I'll go through my report briefly and I'll just highlight the recommendations as I go through, because obviously I'm hoping you've all read it. The good news is we all own a high street car park. As of Friday, that went through, completion went through. It's been a manic week trying to get the facilities all moved over to ourselves. Not 100% there, but we're working on it. We've got the boxes, we've got the keys. We can't work out how the machines work, but we'll figure it out. So that has happened. Obviously within the business plan, we did talk about the need for permit parking, and I know that Sarah has subsequently also had local people within that local residential area that are really struggling with parking, so it might be an answer to that. What I was wanting to do is, and why I put the recommendation for the public consultation is I didn't want to create an awful lot of work for my staff putting through permits that aren't going to be suitable for the people that are there. So by doing that consultation, if you are all in agreement, we'll be honest, and I'm going to start getting fired for half the stuff I say. I've done through ChatGPT with a bit of alteration, but I think the basics and the bones of it is pretty much there. So if councillors are happy to agree that,
Right, I think so.
that's number one. Yeah.
Would it be worth putting in a right to bid on the telephone exchange?
That's a subsequent thing that, yes, I'd like to get that one done. Then yes, absolutely, that's something that I can look into and we can discuss.
Right.
But yeah.
Right, councillor Wilson.
On the permit,
I'm hoping to, that's what I'm hoping to get ready.
immediate.
Yeah, we'll do it online through our socials. I'll try and get some posters made up and things, but I just wanted to get the basis of it there so that everybody understood. It just kind of covers things like, who are you, you know, what are you, is this for residential, is it for private use, is it for Airbnbs, what do people need it for, do they need it in season, out of season, nighttime, daytime, that type of thing, just so we've got a,
In a few weeks or.
yeah, well, provided it goes through today, then yes.
Yeah. So all members in agreement with that?
It's okay.
Right, sorry, councillor Coulter.
Have you looked at the possibility of a pedestrian gate? Pedestrian access over, whoever owns that other piece, is it,
I don't think
Sky or something?
Well, you mean the BT exchange section,
It's completely open, people can drive in there, turn their cars and all that, and all it is just a pedestrian way at the end, and it opens the car park, like, to all the people in Victoria Road and Highfield Road.
Right, councillor Coulter. Right, councillor Elliott.
There is a public access alleyway at the back of those houses that would lead down
Yeah.
to the car park. Yeah.
Is it actually think it's public, would it be owned by the houses?
No, it's public, it's just all over the road, someone would have to investigate it. There is,
Isn't there a wall there still, and you have to put a gate in that wall?
I don't know, I haven't been that far down, but yeah, on the map it is. Right way to put
Right. We,
Okay, all things I can look into,
right,
but if I can get, an agreement with that public consultation.
right, could I, right, could I have a seconder, please? All the members in favour, could I have a show of hands? Anybody against? Thank you.
Wonderful. Right, if I keep going, Chair, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Bus stops, I'm hoping that you've all noticed the three that's gone in. And don't they look very smart? I know that they're not the blue that you wanted, Councillor Cran, but I thought the grey wasn't too bad. It's not green.
Really green, no.
No, so slowly but surely they're going in. I don't know when the next one will go in. It's coming into season time, so that will just happen as and when it's going to be required. As I highlighted, obviously the cedar roofs are not in at the moment. It's just too hot there. They'll go in probably in about October, October time, or beginning part March and April. So that will happen. Public conveniences, just so you've got an update, still don't have Brimlands, even though everything's been signed, waiting on that. Also still haven't had a lease come through for the seafront toilets, so still don't know what's happening on that front. Sorry?
Any of that?
Sorry,
Any electricity?
oh yes, the electricity, so yeah, everything's pretty much, as far as I was aware, everything has been installed and that's all sorted. I don't know if it's been handed over to North Devon Council as yet from the contractors. North Devon Council were meant to have had the lease sent over to our solicitors last week, chased the solicitors Friday, not seen hide nor hair of it, so I will get back on to constantly chasing
Right,
various officers on
Councillor
public
Wilson.
conveniences.
I asked about the pier toilet Thursday evening, I can't remember why I came up, but, John Triggs was saying he expected the lease to be autumn.
Oh, that's nice, okay. Well, either way, just so everyone's aware, and I think I had mentioned this before, I have come to an agreement with John Triggs that we will negotiate everything leading up to, but I will not take any more public conveniences on until I can get all of them at the same time. Because from a contractor perspective, it's really hard work to try and kind of go, you're just one here, one there. Exactly, so if they're going to hand them over, I want them all at one point so that I can get all this paperwork. The paperwork's taking the most amount of time, it is it's ridiculous. Then with regards to the next section I've got is with regards to marketing. So the marketing, what has happened is we basically, Neil and myself have got to a point where it's just been really hard work to try and get a meeting set up. So we created, through the wonders of the internet, a marketing strategy which we've tweaked and highlighted and gone through the strategic plan and made sure that it definitely covers everything. It's in the annex, so that's my recommendation to adopt. This is just a strategy, it's just a guideline, it's not fixed in stone. If anything changes, we can obviously adjust it. But what that will do is that will just give us the footing to then get the action plan sorted, which we're busy working on at the moment with the IBTA. They have seen this and they have, kind of not approved as such, but obviously they have their own strategy, but that is purely tourism based. Whereas we want our strategy to be a bit more residents and business as well. So it's not just people coming into Ilfracombe, it's those that live here and obviously business as well. So if members are happy, if we could, maybe somebody might want to propose that strategy so we can start moving forward on that.
So we need to adopt the strategy, members, so could I have a proposal, please? Right,
You want to propose it, but you're marketing, you propose it.
I just say, right, so can we have a seconder, please? Yeah, right, Councillor Queen, members, are we in favour? Could I have a show of hands? Thank you, right.
Then just to keep going through my report, catenary wires will be, all those changes will be happening on the 21st of July. I think we've already let you know that we're not paying for it. North Devon Council very kindly are paying for it through the shared prosperity fund, so that's good news. So it's great grant funding. And I've already waffled on about devolution and LGR, so unless anyone has any more questions, I'm done.
Thank you very much. Right, members. So we now pass over to our responsible, Councillor Elliott.
Did I just say, I must have missed it, but, I have an interest in 12.6. My husband is employed by community resources.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Right, we note that. Right, responsible officer finance report, so I pass over to Carol. Let's see, right, we have started my report. Is there any questions that start with on the accounting status? Okay, and could I have somebody to propose the accounts for payment, please, including the addendum which, we put out, just prior to the meeting. Right, so I will propose of these, councillor Higgins, could I have a second there? Councillor Quinn and members, could I have a show of hands to say we accept that, please, thank you very much. Anybody against? No abstentions, lovely, right, so, the next part of my report is, 12.3, the proposal to remove the remaining loan amount, to the CCLA. This is, the remaining amount that from the loan we have gained from Merseyside Fire. Complete loan of £1 million. So we've paid out all that we need to. The majority has already gone out for the purchase and the fees from Berensons. There is, I think, one small fee still to come through, which will be about £25, which covers the chap's payment from Lloyds, so I'm expecting that very shortly. But the proposal is that the remaining £22,054 is transferred to the CCLA specified reserve, and that will go into the major assets under the new portfolio of reserves, because the High Street car park is a key reserve, a key asset. No, thank you, Carol. So, if somebody could raise the proposal for that, please. Councillor Gears, seconder. Councillor Schofield, all members, please raise your hands if in agreement. Thank you. Any abstentions? No. Thank you. Okay. So I'll arrange for that to go through tomorrow. The next part, which is 12.4, there are two proposals within this. I've finished the financial risk assessment, the quarterly financial risk assessment. I did realise when I was doing it, we hadn't added a section at the end, which was for the reserves themselves, the actual portfolio. Because although we adopted the portfolio and policy for reserves, we haven't actually put that into the risk assessment. That is now in there. I've done a quarterly one as well, so really what I'm asking you is, can you propose and we accept the extra bit in the report and then the report for June? No. Right, again, could I have a proposer, please? Councillor Huggins, seconder. Councillor Crabb, members, raise your hands, please, if in agreement. Any abstentions, any objections? No, thank you. And just to let you know, there's a couple of things that are, within that risk assessment we're already working on, so hopefully by the next quarter they'll be green. Okay. And then the final one, we have brought this to F&GP, so they have already seen the list of standing orders and direct debits, and that did come to council, I think, last month. But there have been a couple of changes because you adopted that we go for Pennon Water, South West Water, but now called Pennon, as a joint water provider. So we've got the discounts on the fact that we've got bulk numbers of water services with them. Those have all now moved to direct debits, except for the Heel Bay one, which they told me was going to be, but it's now not going to happen until August. But it's for you to accept that these direct debits are what you expect. So it's a proposal for the changes, right, could I have a pen and water to direct debits, right, could I have a proposal for that, please, thank you, councillor Huggins, a seconder, please. Councillor Quinn, members in favour, thank you, right, moving for strengthens, no, lovely, thank you, right, Carol. So, I think we've got one more, which is, the posts on care, but I don't really
Oh,
know
sorry,
what about it.
That's
So
probably
I'll
big.
hand it over to Laura.
Sorry, I was a bit behind on that. So ex-councillor, Freeman Rod Donovan, I think in the past, the town council has supported and put in all the cane posts, on the walk, on the trails. They have asked, and occasionally, I think we did this last year, if I'm not mistaken, some of them do need repairing from time to time. So, community resources is obviously, put the quote in, it's £300. So if council members are happy to continue supporting the Cairn by, putting those repairs in place, I'd be grateful if anyone's got any questions.
Councillor Scott, would you have a question or
No,
were you just,
I'm just gonna say it's a good idea.
right, so are you willing to propose that one, please? Right, and we need a seconder, councillor Coates, second, and members in, sorry, councillor Elliott, did you wish to? No, you've just voted, thank you, Heather.
Is it possible to communicate with that member of the public who contacted me about the post?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just try and find their email, yeah.
I can pronounce it, yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, right, so now members, can I have a show of hands, please, to say we're in agreement? Thank you very much, no abstentions, no, nothing, thank you. Right, thank you, Carol, for that comprehensive report.
I've got a question for Carol.
All right,
Outstanding payments, and it says councillors will be updated on the
Oh,
effects
yes,
of this
sorry.
at the meeting.
yes, just
Which is a lot.
to say, I know, and I sent them all statements and all but two, are paid. One of those I've actually had a conversation with and they're going to pay very shortly and they've changed their PO numbers. So you can guess who that is. And the other one they've part paid. So, and all the others have paid up. Oh, great. So, right. There'll be a few that will be back on there next month as well, because they're paid for their outstanding, but
Thank you, Carol.
thanks to you, you're happy with that?
I am, yeah.
Lovely, thank you very much. Thank you. Right, we now go on to Councillor Steve. Programme Managers Report, including one Ilfracombe.
Yeah, okay, so a few things to note. So Neil's been doing quite a bit of work on the ASP situation and fly tipping situations, and we've basically been working really hard with other agencies such as the police and local government council to try and improve those situations, which it's very complex and very difficult, but we've spent a lot of time in the office talking about this in the best way to move it forward and to help those individuals. It's not an easy situation, but we're doing the best we can to ease those situations and not make it so prominent on the high street. So that's one thing to know. Another point I just want to bring up is I've had separate talks on the Link Centre, and I know Charmaine has as well in another meeting. At the moment, though, it seems that it's not very favourable at the moment for that building to continue in its capacity or to continue in a community capacity due to the situation of the building. And so those discussions are still ongoing. And I know that the work around consumed futures is picking up.
Just out nonsense. There's one RSJ, it's rusty.
Oh, yeah, again, I'm just reporting what I'm, so I think that at the moment, Devon County Council are pushing towards a situation where they're saying the building is going to cost £100,000 to repair. And we're saying that perhaps it's not, and that actually it should still come back as a community asset, but again, I think that, I don't know if you want to come as well, Charmaine, I think it's slightly, we're trying to push these things forward, but again, it's probably over our pay grades to be we get into the people that can make decisions on this, but we're pushing hard to try and get some sort of response and direction for that. So that's just as an update for that. One thing that I'm looking at in particular is more funding to continue our work around things like Wellbeing Wednesdays, some of the wellbeing projects that we're doing. So we've been able to fund most of them through the contract that we've got with the wellbeing team. But as that has been reduced, we are having to stretch that money even further. So we're going to now start to look for funding for things like the Wellbeing Wednesdays and memory cafes, those types of things that we've been able to fund in-house. And unfortunately, we need to sort of find another sort of £2.5 grand a year for that, but that's something that we want to push and pick up. Just a comment as well that, I don't know if you want to come as well, Charmaine, but Charmaine's got her project around the Arts Council, Creative People and Places grant has gone through to the next stage, which is good, and a lot of hard work has been going on there. Just want to draw your attention to the gardening report at the back of my report, which is something that Sarah Hisbot and Councillor Huggins, Sarah Maddox and Councillor Huggins has been working on. And again, it's not taken off as much as probably we thought it would do, but again, it's another useful community project that's happening, and hopefully we can get more volunteers to help out as well. And finally, the healthy living programme that we put on with the wellbeing team and the cardiac project has now come to an end. And we've had a 8-week programme that's been run by Natalie, our community developer. And the outcomes of that, even though in the end, there's 8 people that attended those things, but actually the evaluation that has come out of that has been quite significant. And all of the people that participated have said that they feel physically and mentally better. Their eating's improved, their physical activities improved, their motivational levels improved, things like their fruit and veg intake has improved. And there's a whole load of improvements and stuff that's gone on with that group that's hopefully going to start moving organically outside of those programmes. And what we've done is we've got a pause at the moment, but we've put together a programme which we would hope that we can deliver across the PCN, and again get some more funding in for us to be able to do other stuff if we can deliver it. So that's quite a good news thing that's gone on.
Thank you, Steve. Have members got any questions? Councillor Elliott?
Have you seen the structural, like a survey of the mid-centre, or is it like getting an independent survey?
Yeah, so I think we've requested quite a bit of information, which I know that is going on. I think when you talk to certain officers and councillors, you can tell that there's another agenda. We've been going through this before, haven't we? Many times with all sorts of different things that we've been told, oh, it's going to stay, and then it's just disappeared. And I just think there's a higher agenda at play. And as I've said for quite a long time, that particularly with the Ilfracombe Futures work, is that we need to be really careful that we're not basing lottery bids or grants and stuff on a building that might already be a done deal. And again, it's over our pay rates. But I think that certain officers are being quite sheepish about what's actually going to happen or not. And I think that one of the things is that we do want a structural report. And I think that the lady from the estates lady wants to have that, and apparently has commissioned that. That would be independent. That would be one that they've done. So, yeah.
This is something you can see what action they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And in the past, to be fair, when we took over the landfill, the report that came back that was very comprehensive, and that was done by them, but done by a private company. And that was very useful for us to then be able to say, actually, we can get funding for this and we can take it over, and it's very, very feasible. So I think once we get eyes on this report, when it's been done, then it will help so much more.
Right, thank you, Steve. Councillor Wilson?
Yes. Yes. I will be. Yeah, so just to put you in the picture, some of these conversations merge into other conversations as well, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but I think there's a lot of the, you know, well, we will copy you in and make sure that you're well aware of them.
Right. Right, members, anybody else wish to make comments? No, right, can we thank Steve for delivering this report, thank you very much. Sounds like you've been keeping very busy. Right, item 14, we are going to go into part 2 for, so we'll skip that one. So we now go on to item 15 to receive reports from county and district councillors. Councillor Wilson has obviously submitted a report already. I take it we've already read it. Is there any questions we'd like to raise? No? Right, Councillor Craft.
There's an upcoming thing about this 2020. Jackie Hodgson, I see, has sent an email to council saying that each and every parish will have to put £25,000 into the pot. We want to do that, will we? Ilfracombe could probably cope with it. I'm not sure West End is down with it.
When did the email go?
She sent an email a week or so ago.
Find out, but as far as I said, it was a proposal at this stage, rather than an adopted.
But she's the cabinet member that's
Yeah,
doing it.
she will drive it.
And she's suggesting that each parish will pay 25,000 and it'll only be a couple of pounds a week for people to pay on the council tax, you know, the safety's worth it. I don't know if she wants to go by saying that.
Right.
I'll find out.
We could, I mean, be great with it, but I mean, we could probably find 25, I'm not saying we would, I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I mean, it's still,
No,
it's
it's
a big enough place, isn't it, but. So it said each and every parish.
Well, could we possibly ask Councillor Wilson to
Yeah,
keep us in the loop, please? Yeah, and if you let our proper officer know. Right, any other questions for Councillor Wilson? No, right, thank you very much. Right, so,
Sorry, I had an update about the MIU.
Yeah.
It's not much of an update though, hoping today to get a face-to-face answer out of the NHS, you know, the local ICB are not answering any questions, which is totally unacceptable in the late stage we're at, but, myself and the chair of the social care scrutiny committee are going to get a meeting with them and pin them down this week, some kind of answer face to face. This is the plan. Hopefully maybe tomorrow.
I know, is it youth meeting on Friday, MPE in the room?
The protest, in the room is turning up at
Okay.
12, discuss it with us at until.
It's amazing the conversations I bumped into him in the barbers, so have a chat with him.
No,
He might have some information.
We don't, you know, the league isn't, but we would expect it, but neither are county councillors, neither are the trust actually, so. The ICB are just.
right, on the district point, sorry, Councillor Craft, sorry.
Well, the council leaves. If we talk about the till, you're aware that I've been chasing, there's this mythical report which always hangs, this urgent treatment centre review. And I was ticked off to ask for the terms of reference of it. And I've been chasing and chasing. One was actually left at the post while this been going on. The new one's come in, and then that's been batted sideways. And then someone genuinely this afternoon at 2:30 randomly replies, doesn't mention the terms of review at all, but just says, the current service is going to end on the 31st of July 2025. Big surprise. We're still exploring options for extending this service past the 31st of July. These discussions are still active.
We were told by the trust governor that this review of minor injuries that we thought was ongoing hasn't even begun.
Which reported in September, supposedly there.
Well, this is what we were told, it's all, but where there's no information coming out.
Yeah.
People will fill it, but that was directly from the hospital governor that he was told that that review has not even begun. So how they're gonna come up with something? We just need to be told,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
public deserve to be told where they go for a minor injury. And why they say the 31st, I don't know, because the weekend is the 26th to 27th is the last weekend.
Yeah.
So Tuesday.
For the contract. But from Sarah's point of view, I mean, when you go and batter doors and things, that was from Kerry Ross,
Right,
and she's actually on the ICB.
right, I've got a couple of members, I'll pop on surface
Well, I
first.
don't know, councillor Wilson, do you have anything else to add before I make a
Only to
suggestion?
add the big picture, all the ICBs are, you know, being slashed, and so there's going to be 2 ICBs, the whole of the South West Peninsula, Devon, Cornwall, and Artisili, so they're already in a bit of free fall, I think they're in more in free fall.
Then through the chair, well, might I make a suggestion that we consider talking while we're on the subject, talking and looking at 17.1C, which is councillor Huggins's suggestion of writing a letter in regards to the minor injury units, because we might as well while we're on the subject, otherwise we're going back and
So
forth.
are members in agreement to bring that slightly forward?
Yeah.
Thank you, right. So would councillor Huggins like to cover his letter, please?
Well, I guess you read it,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a pretty simple one, it's not. Obviously, we're very aware of the, of what we've achieved. But this letter is really about expanding the audience of people that want to keep mining in town council, not just the individual circle. It's just another voice, ultimately the aim is to make it as difficult for the ICB to stop this service as we can. It's an unequal battle, but I think it's important that as a council we just register our opposition to this being done to our town.
right. So members, have you seen the letter? Right. Are we in agreement with this letter going from us as a council? Could I have a proposal that we send the letter?
Councillor Huggins is the proposer.
Right, councillor Elliott, to second it. Right, could I have a show of hands, please? I'm sure there'll be nobody against, but I will ask if there is anybody. No, thank you. Right, thank you, councillor Huggins. Obviously I'll pop on, so we'll make sure that is actually sent. Right, thank you very much. Right, so now we go back to our reports from the county and district councillors. Is there anybody else that would like to make a report? Councillor Crabbe, would like to have anything you'd like to say?
Sorry, I just admiring me looking my phone in. So the main things that North Devon Council did, very fortunately, were done in this very room on Monday. So for those of you who weren't yet, a quick whistle-stop tour is the fact that 2 houses in Slade have been bought for temporary accommodation, which will reduce the need to hire hotel rooms. There's a full report gone out about all the things that NDC have been doing in Ilfracombe, not only on the ground physically, but also such things as like taking a bigger role with the task force. There's a task force secretariat, and we've got Ken Master chair. There's a report which is now, you're excited to know, is in your inboxes from that. And just the fact that bear in mind that One North Devon is also very focused. There's this big push at the minute on Ilfracombe. So North Devon Council is pushing that way. You've got county joining the task force. There's two people of the NHS there. This whole thing's going on, and then there's One North Devon, which is also very focused on Ilfracombe, and that's attended now after a bit of a lull. It's now attended by Ken Miles and Councillor Pete Lever. So there's two people from North Devon.
Right. Thank you very much. Right, I'll just give a brief report. I am a member of the Waste and Recycling Working Group, and we had our first meeting the other day, online, obviously. I was quite intrigued to find how many actual households we serve, because I wasn't aware. We do 47,000 refuse collections, so I thought that's quite good. We are talking about trade waste. I won't bore you with the details, but from the figures that we were presented, we do trade waste at a loss. So obviously that is an item that will be coming forward for discussion when we have our next meeting. And that was basically all. As I say, we are trying to educate the public to put their recycling and et cetera in correct bins, because we realise that we aren't in the top of the table for our recycling figures. I think we're about number 68 or something, which it wasn't good, but when you think there's about 800 local authorities, it wasn't too bad, but as I say, we'd like to be near the top of the table. But so we are working on it, and we will be having a meeting shortly to discuss this. And we are going to go to the new recycling centre. We have the new bay there, which is really going to be very exciting, I'm sure. So I will let you know when we do that.
Can you get photographs?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely photograph opportunity. I'll take my deputy mayor's training through as well, shall I?
I think so.
You know.
Perhaps a ribbon.
All right, members, thank you very much. Right, so we now progress on to the next item, which is to receive reports from working groups and councillors' champions. Councillor Coates, have you anything to add?
Well, has anyone got any questions, first of all?
No?
No, just very, very quick update. If you're coming to Lee this week, you'll see road closed signs at the entrance, just before you approach the second turn off Home Lane. The road is closed, so we can, put in a mains drain to the hotel sign. So people in suitable vehicles can go up Home Lane and round and end up at the bay, and they're being diverted. We had a problem over the weekend with litter wasn't collected from the bin down at the bay, overflowing absolutely everywhere. And thank you, Councillor Quinn's been chasing up what's been happening, because previously we've had collections every day, and we've had a change of operating in the past couple of months. We just don't seem to be having as frequent collections.
So
So
you trying to sit the door until June got on the committee?
The person on the ground used to turn up every day, including weekends, or somebody else did, and yeah, we haven't had anybody this weekend, and then the other thing is, we've still been waiting for signs that were requested from highways, but thanks to Councillor Wilson, I know, is chasing up on our behalf. But we've also had the request that, although we have clearway signs, and the Residents Association put a very nice clearway, unofficial clearway signs, that you haven't heard that. People still don't have a clue what the clearway sign means. So apparently in Ilfracombe they have signs that say no parking and no stopping beside them. And so we've asked if we could have those as well, please. It's all a problem just whilst we haven't got a car park at the bay. So hopefully next year, when National Trust give us 70 spaces, it will all be wonderful. That's it. It's just, but that reminds me of that, actually, we have quite a few people parking, ignoring these clearway signs, parking down past Home Lane towards the mill, over the weekend, and we had a couple motorbike and another car that I told when I was going out on the paddleboard with nice yellow tickets on, and I think, you know, when we're getting random checks, so it does actually help people to be more aware that no, we shouldn't be parking here. And the message is starting to get through. It's just we have exceptional weather this weekend, and some people chose to ignore it.
Right, thank you. Is there any questions? Councillor Coates? No? Thank you very much. Right, the next report is mine, which is the Business and Tourism Championship report. Obviously, I took this post on last year and haven't really done much, I'm afraid. So I thought I'd take the initiative and just go and visit a couple of businesses, which, as you can see, I have done in the report. I appreciate comments from other members that there are other businesses which I can obviously visit, and I will make sure that I do so. I know Councillor Wilson has actually been going around and talking to the businesses in the high street. So, you know, we are being quite active in trying to engage with our businesses. Have members got any questions? No, thank you very much. Right, we now go on to the Youth Champions report, which is quite a long one, delivered by Councillor David Williams. Do members have any questions or observations they wish to make? Or would Councillor Williams like to add anything to his report?
I'd like to add something. Deputy Chair. I have to say, it's very long in the report, but when I went to this digital event, I left really inspired by what I saw. It's amazing that giving the kids a voice in a creative way was really engaging to listen to. I was fortunate enough to be invited to Councillor Williams was invited, and she said, "Oh, this has been interesting to see." And I thought, "Oh, yeah, definitely." And I was amazed by stories, how they presented it. All the schools involved, Thornton and Hilton and Ilfracombe, they all had great ways and great messages, although the Ilfracombe one I definitely found inspired by, just because of the messaging and the relevance to us, although all the schools are very relevant and interesting message. I do encourage you to read the report. Keeping that with food, there's some really great songs. I encourage you to listen to them. All the councillors will find that there's a bit of paper in front of you, saying if this page could speak, what would it say? I think that's quite clever out of the box thinking. And I think I definitely put a few responses on that. I would encourage you to all play that quickly for me. It'd be interesting as older adults what we think. But kids made some songs out of it about don't want to get high on the high street. I just want to get by on the high street. Quite relevant to Councillor Elliott's report as well. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. I'm just slightly disappointed, not directing at anyone, but slightly disappointed that there wasn't many higher figures of authority. Like, if that was presented to a group of MPs, I guarantee it would make people think about what their decisions are and how they affect the youth of all communities. But I am meeting up with someone from the landmark soon to discuss it further, to see what the next step is, because I do think it was a great voice for the young people to be involved in. But I do my report.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. I believe that the songs, for want of a better word, have already been circulated by a proper officer. So, like Councillor Williams has said, I would urge you to listen to them and think about the message that they tried to convey to us. It is a very important message, and you know, they are the next generation, as we all know. And if they have got those thoughts, then I think we as adults and obviously as councillors should be listening to them and giving thought as to how we can actually improve our town. And it doesn't only apply to Ilfracombe, you know, for their future. Anyway, thank you very much.
Highlights me. That reminds me that kids can get involved in activities like this at a landmark every weekend for £5. Well,
Not every weekend, you've got to look.
weekends at £5. So if you have a kid that want to get involved in activities, please do. This speak up thing wasn't directed at kids that do theatre or art and stuff. This was directed at kids directly who don't do that. It gave them a new way of expressing themselves. I got sent a list of quotes from what kids felt, and they're all remarkable. So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, perhaps we'd like to, when you get time, to distribute those thoughts to the members of the committee, so we can actually see what, you know, it's lovely to see what some of them actually decided to say about our town, you know, written as opposed to verbally. So that's lovely. Thank you very much. Right, we now go on to receive correspondence, licenses and notices. Right, 17.1, we've already had the proposal by Blue, so we can now go on to the letter from CCLA, changes to the public sector deposit fund.
Yeah, just to bring you up to date, I sent the letter out. Basically, it doesn't affect us too much, except the charges are going up slightly. They get taken out of our interest payments anyway, and they're quite small. We're very lucky to be in this fund looking at it, because they are going to, from September, have a minimum investment of £1 million. Well, we've already in, so it doesn't affect us. They've already told us that. I did ask for a chair's discretion, just to say that, I'll add it to this if that's okay, but CCI have sent me another letter today, just to say that they are being taken over, by Jupiter. I've got investments with Jupiter and they could do a very good return on them, so I'm hoping that we will get exactly the same sorts of returns as we're getting currently. I will send that out to you, by email, so I'll scan it tomorrow and send it out. But it's basically saying we're being taken over. Thank you. Is there any questions? Right, Angus, thank you very much. Well, as I say, we have no items for chair discretion, so we will now go into part B. So could I ask the members of the public if they would kindly leave these, and we will obviously cease recording.
Can I request if members are in agreement that certain officers could stay?
Yeah.
And I know for one part, if I can ask Charmaine, I mean Isabel, if you wish to stay, equally if Councillor Wilson can stay for one aspect. When we finish that one, I will then ask, unfortunately, for the staffing update for you to leave, if that's okay.
Right.
If everyone's in agreement.
Are we in agreement to that? Can I have a show of hands, please? Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much. Right.